Let us start with one sum on dissolution of a partnership firm, wherein we are going to apply the decision of Gardner versus Murray. Look at the sum on the screen. Narang, Sarang and Sadarang are partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 5:4:1. Profit sharing ratio is 5:4:1, 50%, 40%, 10%. The balance sheet of their firm as on 31/3/2010 was as under. On asset side, you are given building, machinery, stock, debtors, bad debt reserve, cash on hand and profit and loss account. On liability side, you are given the capital of Narang, Sarang, Sadarang, general reserve, creditors and bank overdraft. Now notice, general reserve is an undistributed profit that will be distributed amongst partners in the ratio of 5:4:1, and as this is an undistributed profit, it will be credited to partners' capital account. Same way, this profit and loss account debit balance 40,000. It is the loss, undistributed loss. This loss also will be distributed in the ratio of 5:4:1, and this being loss undistributed will be debited to the partner's capital account in the profit sharing ratio. The firm was dissolved on the above date. The information relating to the dissolution were as under. Now see, the firm is dissolved. Some of the assets realized as under: building 30,000, machinery 22, debtors 16,000. Narang has taken over the stock at a price of 22,000 and he has agreed to pay the bank overdraft of the firm. Creditors have been paid in full. Sarang has accepted to bear the expenses related to dissolution, for which he is to be paid 5,000. The actual dissolution expenses were 5,100. Now firm has agreed to pay rupees 5,000 for dissolution work. Then partner will be paid that much of amount. After that 5,100 paid by a partner who has committed to bear the expenses, he will bear the additional expenses. So no entry is to be recorded for 5,100. Only entry that we are going to write for amount granted to a partner 5,000. So Sarang is granted 5,000 rupees for dissolution expenses. Journal entry for that is realization account debit to Sarang capital account credit. Sadarang was declared insolvent. Rupees 300 could be recovered from his personal asset. From the above information, for closing the books of the firm as per Gardner versus Murray's decision, prepare realization account, partner's capital account and cash account. Now notice, here we are going to apply the decision of Gardner versus Murray. What is the prerequisite for the application of this division? One of the partners should be insolvent. The insolvent partner is unable to bring in firm the amount that is required to contribute because of the debit balance of his capital account. He is unable to contribute this debit balance of capital account in the firm. So the amount that he could not contribute is known as capital deficit. That capital deficit will be distributed among solvent partners, not in the profit sharing ratio, because this is not a business loss. Then in what proportion should it be distributed? Then Gardner versus Murray's decision has pronounced that this loss should be distributed in the ratio of capital that existed as at the date of dissolution. So what is the capital ratio of solvent partners as on the date of dissolution? That we shall work out, and in that ratio the capital deficit that has arisen because of the insolvency of a partner will be distributed. One more point. In Gardner versus Murray, it is also mentioned that the solvent partners are required to bring cash equivalent to the realization loss sustained by them. So we shall ask the solvent partners to bring cash equal to the realization loss sustained by them. These are the basic important points about the Gardner versus Murray. The other aspects of dissolution accounting is prepare realization account, partner's capital account, cash and bank account. They are to be prepared as usual. Now let me start with preparation of accounts. This is my realization account, capital account, cash account. Copy the balance sheet. The first step is to consider the details given in the balance sheet for accounting of dissolution. See, the balance sheet details are, you are given on assets and building 50,000, that will be debited to realization account. So realization account is debited with 50,000 rupees. Look at it, realization account debit to building account credit. Next asset is machinery 42,000. That is also debited to realization account. So realization account debit to machinery account credit. Third asset is stock. That is also debited to realization account. So what is the entry for that? Realization account debit to stock account. Same way, debtors are debited at 18,000. So 18,000 for debtors debited to realization account and debtors account have been credited. Bad debt is credited to realization account. Cash on hand is recorded as opening balance in cash account. And profit and loss account 40,000, that is an undistributed loss that will be distributed amongst partners in the ratio of 5:4:1. So 50% loss is of Narang, that is 50% means 20,000, 40% is the loss of Sarang, so 40,000 into 40% 16,000 and 40,000 into 10% is the loss of Sadarang. So let me distribute this loss of 40,000 between Narang, Sarang and Sadarang, 20,000, 16,000 and 4,000. This is how the loss that is shown on the asset side of the balance sheet at the time of dissolution is distributed amongst partners in the ratio of their profit sharing. Now let me consider the liability side. On liability side you are given the capital of Narang, Sarang, Sadarang, that will be credited to the capital account of Narang, Sarang and Sadarang. General reserve 10,000. General reserve 10,000 will be distributed in the ratio of 5:4:1, 10,000. So 5,000, 4,000, 1,000. This is an undistributed profit that will be credited to partners' capital account. Look at the recording of this general reserve to the partners' capital account. So 5,000, 4,000 and 1,000. Creditors are credited to realization account and bank overdraft is also transferred to the credit side of realization account. This is how balance sheet copy is over. So all the information given to me in the balance sheet are considered. Now on the basis of this recording, I will prefer to find out the capital ratio of solvent partners, and that capital ratio is useful to me for the purpose of distributing the capital deficit of an insolvent partner on conclusion of the sum. So let me find out the capital ratio of solvent partners. Sadarang is insolvent. Sadarang is insolvent. So Narang and Sarang are solvent. So let me find out the capital ratio of Narang and Sarang. For that total of credit of capital account, from that total of debit of capital account will be deducted. We will get the capital as at the date of dissolution. For Narang, 44,000 plus 5,000. 49,000 is the total of credit. 20,000 deducted therefrom, that is the item debited to the capital account of Narang. So capital will be 29,000. Same way I want to work out for Sarang. 58 plus 4 is the total of credit. From that 16,000 is deducted. So balance of capital account of Sarang is 46,000. So 29,000 and 46,000 is the capital that existed on the date of dissolution. The ratio thereof is 29:46. So 29:46 is the ratio in which capital deficit will be distributed. The total of 29 plus 46, it amounts to 75. Now second step to calculate the capital ratio of solvent partner is over. Third step is to realize the asset. The information relating to the dissolution I'll take information one by one. I'll record all this additional information, that is the realized value of assets and the settled value for liabilities will be recorded for accounting for dissolution. So building realized 30,000. Cash account debit to realization account credit. So cash account is debited, realization account is credited. Machinery realized 22,000. For that same entry will be recorded. Cash account debit to realization account credit 22,000. And for debtors amount realized is 16,000. Journal entry for that is cash account debit to realization account credit. Cash to realization. Notice for your reference one important point. Building 50,000, realized 30. Difference between 50 and 30, 20,000 is a loss, automatically debited to realization account. Machinery, book value 42,000, realized 22,000. So 20,000 is a loss on realization of machinery. The debit is more than credit, 20,000 is debited to realization account by difference. Debtors 18,000, bad debt reserve there against is 2,000, amount realized 16,000. So 16 plus 2, 18,000 and 18,000. So there is neither gain nor loss in realization of debtors. Now, three assets are realized: building, machinery and debtors. What about stock? And after realizing the stock, pay the liabilities. So here, Narang has taken over the stock at a price of 22,000. Narang has taken the stock. Narang is the receiver, debit the receiver. So Narang account debit to realization account credit. This is the realized value of stock. The stock value is 30,000. Stock value is 30,000. Realized value 22,000. So difference between the two is 8,000. That is the loss on realization of stock. That gets debited to realization account by difference. And agreed to pay the liability for bank overdraft. Now Narang agreed to pay the liability of the firm. When the liability is assumed by a partner, partner is a giver to the firm. So partner's capital account should be credited for that, and the settled value for liability is debited to realization account. So entry for that is realization account debit to Narang capital account credit 22,000. Now, next point, creditors have been paid in full. Creditors are 40,000. They have been paid in full. So, amount paid is debited to realization account and cash account gets credited for that. So, 40,000 realization account debit to cash account credit. Now, bank overdraft and creditors liabilities are settled. Sarang has accepted to bear the expenses related to dissolution for which he is to be paid 5,000. So amount of 5,000 is an expense of the business payable to partner Sarang. Journal entry for that is realization account debit to Sarang capital account credit 5,000. Realization account debit to Sarang capital. This is a remuneration given to the partner for implementing the dissolution, or you can say that dissolution expense is paid. The actual expenses amounted to 5,100. That information is not relevant to the firm, so need not be recorded. Now, assets are realized, liabilities are settled. Next step is to close the realization account, find out the profit or loss on realization. That will be distributed amongst partners in the ratio of profit sharing. So total of debit side 50 plus 42 plus 30 plus 18 plus 22 plus 40,000 plus 5,000 to like 7,000. From 2 like 7,000 if you deduct the amount credited to the realization account 2,000, 40,000, 22,000, 68,000 and 22,000. There is a loss of 53,000. This loss of 50,000 will be distributed amongst partners in the ratio of profit sharing, that is 5:4:1. Let us work it out. So 53,000 into 5 by 10, 26,500. 53,000 into 4 by 10, 21,200. And 53,000 into 1 by 10, 5,300. This is a realization loss distributed amongst partners. When the loss is to be distributed amongst partners, partners' capital account should be debited. So, here 26,000 debited to Narang, 21,200 debited to Sarang, and 5,300 debited to Sadarang. What is the journal entry for that? Narang capital account debit, Sarang capital account debit, Sadarang capital account debit to realization account credit 53,000. Now as per Garner versus Mures, the solvent partners are required to bring cash equal to the realization loss suffered by them. Narang has suffered a loss of 26,500, so he is supposed to bring a cash 26,500. Realization loss is brought in cash by the solvent partner. Sarang is also solvent partner. His share in realization is loss is 21,200. So he has to bring 21,200 in cash. That is realization loss suffered by him. Let me write down the entry. Cash account debit to Narang capital account. And same way cash account debit to Sarang capital account credit 21,200. Now I am required to close the capital account of the insolvent partner. How much is the amount recoverable from him and how much could he bring? What is the capital deficit? Let us work it out. Now, record the entry for the cash brought by the insolvent partner. Sadarang was declared insolvent and rupees 300 only could be recovered from his personal assets. So 300 rupees are received from Sadarang. Entry same simple cash account debit to Sadarang account credit. So cash account debit 300. To Sadarang account credit 300. Now let us work out the capital deficit of an insolvent partner. For that, from total of debit, total of credit to the capital account of Sadarang will be considered. So here I work out the capital deficit. Total of debit 4,000 plus 5,300. Total of credit 5 plus 1 6,000. So amount recoverable 3,300. Against this 3,300 recoverable amount, he brought only 300 rupees. So 300 rupees are deducted therefrom. So the net capital deficit is 3,000. This 3,000 will be distributed in the ratio of 29:46 between Narang and Sarang. So 3,000 into 29/75. Share of Narang is 1160. I'm sorry, 1160, and thereof Sarang is 3,000 into 46/75. 1840 is the capital deficit borne by Sarang. When does this capital deficit is borne by Narang and Sarang? Narang and Sarang capital account is debited and Sadarang capital account, the insolvent partner's capital account, gets credited for that. Look at the entry. Narang account debit, Sadarang account credit. Sarang account debit, Sadarang account credit. This is how capital deficit is distributed. By distribution of this capital deficit, what happens? The capital account of Sadarang tallies, agrees, and by balancing the capital of Narang and Sarang, we can find out the capital redeemable. So here 97,500 minus this. So you will get the redeemable capital 7,840. This is the capital redeemable to Narang. So Narang is to be paid 27,840. Narang account debit to cash account credit. Similarly, total of credit side of Sarang 88,200. From 88,200 deduct 16,000, 21,200 and 0.840. This is the redeemable capital. The entry for redeemable capital is Sarang capital account debit to cash account credit. So cash account is credited for that. So partner's capital is redeemed. Capital deficit is distributed. Realization account is also closed. The last account to be closed is the cash account. This is a dissolution of the firm, so there won't be any closing cash balance in the cash account. So total of debit side of cash account and total of credit side of cash account should agree. Let us have a total thereof. So here total of debit side is 1,17,000 and total of credit side is also 1,17,000. So this is how cash account tallies. There is no cash balance left. This is how this sum on dissolution of a partnership firm is solved before you. I feel that you must have followed Thanks to all of you.